Hello everyone, welcome to Preface Nomad Junior YouTube channel. I am teacher Essen and today I'm going to be showing you a game called Set of the Fires. I have already installed it in my Android phone, so I'm going to click on it. And the game has two parts. The first one is going to be our image part where we display our fire image. The second one is going to be our button. So let me press on it.
Victoria Park is on fire. Please come.
Yes, and now I'm going to press on the fire button.
Thanks for reporting the emergency accurately.
And of course, restart button is going to restart our game. So let's get to Inventor and make that. Alright then, I'm already in the MIT App Inventor and I'm gonna start a new project. So I'm gonna come into my projects and start new project. I'm gonna name it Set of the Fires. And I have my project ready, so let's start. You guys might remember from the start of this video that our game has two parts. One of them is the display part where we display a fire image, and the second one is going to be our buttons where we have a phone button, a fireman button, and a restart button. So let's do the first part now. So from the previous videos we have learned that in App Inventor, if we want to display a picture or an image, we have to use a component called image from user interface. So I'm gonna just click on it and drag it to my screen. Alright, I'm gonna change its name to fire img, fire image. Okay, but right now my image is on the left hand side, but I want it to be in the center of my screen. So I'm gonna have to change the properties of screen 1. I'm gonna click on screen 1 and come down to align horizontal and change it to center 3. Okay, that's perfect. Now my file image is very small. I don't want it to be this small. I want to make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click on its height and set it to 100 pixels, I guess. And I'm going to set it to 100 pixels also. Okay, that's perfect. Now I need an image. I need a file which I can use. So I'm going to have to click on upload file, choose file, and I'm going to use this picture to, and I'm going to upload it. And okay, so it's been uploaded already, so I'm going to have to come into picture and fire and press OK, and I should see a picture here. That's perfect. So we are done with our part 1 display. Now we're going to have to do our buttons. Next, we're going to have to use buttons. We're going to be using 3 buttons altogether. One of them is going to be a phone button, the second one is going to be a fireman button, and the last one is going to be a restart button. So I'm going to just go to my user interface and click on button and drag it to 1 button, 2 button, and 3. Okay, the first one is going to be my phone button, so I'm going to just click rename and type phone button BTN. Perfect. The second one is going to be my fireman button, so I'm going to say fireman button, and the last one is going to be a restart button, so I'm going to say restart BTN. Okay, that's perfect. But I want to display image in my phone button and fireman button, so I'm going to change its dimensions. I'm going to set it to 100 pixels, and I'm going to change it to 100 pixels for width as well. Okay, next let's do it for fireman button also. So I'm going to go into height, 100 pixels, and width 100 pixels. Okay, but do we want to display text for button 1 and text for button 2? No. So I'm going to click on text 1, button 1, and select text and remove it. I'm going to do it for text for button 2 as well. Okay, and because we want to display pictures, I'm going to have to upload them. So I'm gonna go in upload file, choose a file. So this is a phone button, so press OK. And then there's gonna be a fireman image. So fireman, okay. Now fire phone button, and then click on image, and click on phone, and I should see my phone in here. Perfect. And let's repeat for fireman also. So go in there, image, fireman, press OK, a fireman. Perfect. But for last one, do we want to display text for button 3? No. So I'm going to click on it, go to its text, and I'm going to type restart. And that's it. We have our display. One of the main functionality of our app is that when we click on phone button, it speaks. So how do we make our app speak? In order to do that, we're going to have to use a component called text to speech. It should be in media. It is this component, text to speech. So I'm going to click on it and drag it to my app. As you guys can see, it is a non-visible component, which is going to help us convert our text to speech. With that, we are done with our designer part. Next, we're going to have to go to blocks and do some coding. So let's do that. Before we start making any blocks, I just want to show you how our app looks so far. So as you guys can see, we have an fire image, and then we have a phone button, and then we have a fireman button, and then we have a restart button. But then you guys might remember that the final game, the final product should not have the fireman and restart button visible. We should not be able to see these two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and hide these two when we start the app. So let's just do that now. So in terms of blocks, how do we know that our app has started? In order to know that, we're going to have to come into screen 1 and get when screen 1 dot initialize. So this is going to help us when our game or our app starts when screen 1 initialize. Next, what do we want to do? We want to set our fireman button to visible equals to false. So we can say get any of these set blocks, and now look for visible. There it is inside, and now I'm going to go get logic and false. What this block is going to do is when we start the app, the fireman button is going to be visible equals to false. So I'm going to just duplicate this block and put it in screen 1 initialize, and I'm just going to change from fireman to restart, and then I'm going to just connect and refresh it. Alright, as you guys can see that we are left with our phone button only. Before I move any further, I want to explain a very important concept, event handling. What is event handling? Event handling is the response to events happening in our app. So what do I mean by that? So the events can be when we click on our buttons. These are examples of events. So we use these yellow blocks, which are event handler, to handle those events. So the event is screen 1 initialize, the yellow block is event handler, and the green blocks in here is our response. So these blocks are example of event handling in App Inventor. Alright, so the next thing that we want to do is we want our app to speak. So what do I mean by that is when I click on my phone button, I should hear my app speak using text-to-speech component. So I'm going to go back to my blogs and click on phone button and get this block when phone button dot click. Alright, next, because I want to use text-to-speech component, I'm going to come in here and get this block called text-to-speech 1 dot speak message, because this is the block that is going to help us make our app speak. So now I need to input a a text or a message that we want our app to speak. So for that, I'm gonna have to come into text, get this blog, and now type. Let's see. Victoria Park is on fire. Please, please come. All right, that's perfect. And then I'm gonna go up in connect and click on refresh companion. And as you can see, there is a refresh in our screen. I'm gonna click on the phone button and see if it's speaking or not.
Victoria Park is on fire. Please come.
Yes, it's speaking. Perfect. What do we want to do next? Next, we want to display our fireman button. So how do we do that? For that, we're gonna have to go back to our blogs and get into text to speech and get this blog when text to speech after speaking yes. So we want to use this blog to display our fireman button. So once our app is done speaking, it is going to execute the codes or the blocks inside. So we want to make our fireman button visible. So set visible to true. Okay, so that should make a fireman button visible to true to once we are done speaking. I'm gonna refresh our app, so let's see if it's working. I'm gonna press on phone button and see.
Victoria Park is on fire. Please come.
Okay, perfect. So we have our app speaking, and of course our fireman has also come. Moving on, now we want our fireman to fight the fire. What do I mean by that is when I click on fireman button, I should not see the image of a fire anymore. That's the first thing that I want to do. Secondly, the firemen should thank us for informing them. Lastly, we want to make a restart button visible. So how do we do that? Let's go back to our blogs, and because we are talking about fireman button dot click, so I'm gonna get this blog for me. Okay, now the first thing that we want to do is fight the fire. So what do I mean by that is we don't want to see the fire image anymore. So I'm going to get any of these set blogs and click on picture and change text to empty. And I'm gonna set this blog empty so that fire imd.picture do not have a source to find the picture from, and hence there will be no picture of fire. Secondly, we want our fireman to thank us, so we can just copy this blog, duplicate and put it down in here, and just change the text. So let's say thank you for informing us on time. That's the second part. Lastly, we want to make a restart button visible. So I'm going to click on restart and get any of the set blocks, and now I'm going to look for visible. Okay, so because I want to make it visibly true, I'm going to get into logic and get true and put it here. Okay, so what we are done with our fireman block. All right, so the last thing that we want to do today is we want to code for our restart button. So I'm going to get this blog when restart button dot click. All right, the first thing that I want to do is I want to make restart button itself visible to false. So I'm going to just click on this and duplicate it, and visible becomes false. All right, great. Next I want to light up the fire again, so I'm gonna just click the fire block, duplicate it and put it here, but this time I'm gonna type in the name, the source of the file. So I'm gonna go back to designer part. It's gonna be fire.png, and I'm gonna type fire.png. So this time this fire img.picture block is is going to be able to locate the file, and it should be able to display the picture. Lastly, we want to make our fireman visible to false also. So get this set fireman dot visible dot false. So there you go. So we are done with our app. Alright guys, so let's do a bit of recap for today. The first thing that we learned, text to speech, a component that helps us convert text to speech. Secondly, we learned event handling. Event handling is the response to the events that are happening in our app. Events such as clicking on buttons or collision of two characters. That's it for the tutorial today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.